I I try to I try to make sure that I finish something. February album writing month and GIOS have given me the ability to write a song in 1 hour and upload it. Again, whether or not it's good is irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
For me, it's more the process of completion. Now, if there's something in the song that excites me, that is exciting to me, because I have to have something that I like about it. Because if I don't, I don't think anyone else is going to like it. Now, that's not always true. I've had songs where someone else thought it was just the greatest thing ever. And I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
This is garbage. You know, I rarely think that they're garbage if I recorded them. You know, like I put time into it. But there's some where I definitely know this just isn't as good a song as this song. But if anything is true, I mean, I can't tell you how many musicians, like, biographies I've read where they're like, I didn't think this was going to be our hit. I thought this was going to be our hit.
Right. Wasn't it?
Sure all of you have got an example of a song where someone said they really love this song, and you're just like, you know, you didn't really think anything of that song. Or if you've read about that from other artists, like, I mean, who really had big hits that, you know, they said the record company chose it. We really thought this was the song, and this became the big hit. So we are not always the best judge of our, you know, you can't know how other people are going to interpret something. And and I think if you spend too much time worrying about that, you stop the creative process, you know?
Yeah. So all of that, I mean, all of that, it's definitely about the creative process. And even myself, just because I've been so busy trying to build up my business in general. I mean, there's music, there's teaching, there's music lessons, there's this, that, and the other, that I wasn't able to focus as much on the creative process. And I actually started to then not like it, because the whole thing about, well, is this going to be good? Can I do it? It's like, if you don't keep nurturing that creative process, it kind of can float away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the more you do it, the better you get.
And the plan, I guess, the original question was, you know, what's the, do you have a plan?
Oh yeah, your 5-year plan.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess when I went to Taxi Rally in 2012, or maybe it was even 2013. You know, it might have been 2013. There was this whole thing about, do you have a 5-year plan? You know, like, or start a 5-year plan. And the 5-year plan was kind of like, how are you going to be successful or, you know, show progress towards becoming a, you know, maybe getting a full-time income. And these guys are saying, hey, it's possible to do in 5 years if you kind of set it out. So I kind of, you know, I didn't write down a whole lot of things, but I knew that there were some actionable goals I could take. Like, I hadn't submitted anything probably until 2012 or 2013, where I specifically wrote a song because I saw a listing that said Black Keys, gold on the ceiling. We want a song like that. Okay. And now, and in fact, one of my songs that's my most pitched song, well, I have 2 songs that are both my most pitched and placed songs, like made me a good amount of money. And they're both ones that I created from listings. One is a Black Keys one, because it's very much in my wheelhouse. I am not a trained top 40 vocalist, so that isn't going to ever happen for me. I'll never be on American Idol. But unless they have like the Black Keys on, unless it's about like raw rock and roll vocals, and who knows, maybe. So those 2 songs that I actually spent quite a bit of time on these 2 songs, and they were targeted right at a listing. And in fact, one of the songs missed the deadline for the listing date, and I submitted it somewhere else, and it got accepted by this publisher, and it was like a big deal for me because I hadn't had anything accepted. And then to this day, and this is like 2013 when I submitted the song, it's called Pull Down the Sun, and you can find it on my it's a Dove, our band is called Dove Pilot, and I do this with another composer named Pedro Costa, and he's a publisher and a bunch of other things, but he and I collaborated together, And that song has been pitched so many times and used several times. It was used on the Mindy Project, which was a Fox.
Yeah, I think so.
And it, you know, it was because I wrote a song based on another song, which I completely made my own. It sounds nothing like the band. There's a band called Phoenix. But it was a style that when I heard it, I'm like, I really like this. I'm excited by what I'm hearing. I want to encourage you guys, if you're not excited by some music that's currently out, you need to get out there and find something that's exciting to you, because there is lots of great new music,
Yeah.
And in every single style. I mean, if you're into speed metal, there's some great new speed metal. If you're into folk, there's great folk. There's great polka. I mean, there's great music in every style. And listening to what someone does that does it so well, and then I reverse engineer.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah.
So I take a song and I tear that thing apart, and I really listen to first, like, what are the chords? You know, just go to the basic. I just go online and look up chords for blah, 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 blah. And I look at the chord progression. And then I sit there and I play the chords. And then I start listening to specific things in the song. Like, how is it recorded? Are the vocals super loud? Are the guitars loud? Are the guitars distorted? Are they panned all the way to the left, all the way to the right? I start like listening to production elements. And I'm not sure where everyone is production wise here. I know everyone's kind of in a lot of different places. Are you guys all in the chat too? Can you guys all?
Yeah, everybody's in the chat.
Everyone's in the chat. Real quick, a quick survey of all participants here. How many of you are recording and producing your own material? And how many of you are you more of a songwriter? Are you more of a producer? Are you doing both? Maybe you could just give me I'm doing both, or I'm doing one.
Yeah.
And I'll take questions too. You guys can throw questions in the chat room because I have it popped open.
How do you put your hand up on this?
How do you what? Oh.
There's a way you can stick your hand up, isn't there, somewhere? Well, I could do that.
I saw you raise your hand, Jason. Yes, Jason, yeah. You. In the corner.
I do everything, and I mean everything. Vocals, production, writing, recording, everything. And that's just been a slow evolution for me, really. I think through necessity and costs. So right. I thought that if I can do everything myself, then I'm good to go. So that's the position I'm in. What you were saying earlier, sometimes what I do as well, so what you were saying about trying to get the sound of somebody you're trying to emulate, I'll bring in a reference track, but I'll stick my spectrum analyzer on it, and I'll see where I did a song, because a lot of people think I sing. One of the ways I sing is a bit like Chris Rea. So I brought this song in with a Chris Rea track, and I was able to put the spectral analyzer on it and actually see where the frequencies were in his vocal. So that then I could do my vocal and try and emulate and actually I got pretty close to the sound that he got. So
that's I think that's a great. So for those of you that are producing, I think a lot of you are in that place, but if you're also just writing, this can be something that you even discuss. I mean, even as a writer, you can learn to listen more critically. And I know, I know there's definitely a business focus, right? I mean, what is the focus of this class? Tell me again, because I'm sorry.
I teach everyone this was a 90-day challenge part, but they all have access to a licensing course that I'm teaching them basically everything from universal lyrics, writing with emotion, using metaphors, production, instrumental cues, to the business side. It's kind of A to Z of licensing. And in the 90-day challenge here, we're focusing on goal setting and writing, metadata tagging, creating your catalog, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Pitching.
Pitching, hey, yeah. So, and then, I mean, I can't encourage you enough to check out places like Taxi. That for me was just such a huge eye-opener. And I met a lot of rejection when I started, a lot of stuff. I was it was shoving a square
Yes.
square peg into a round hole. I had like 3 albums of great songs. They're so good, you know. I spent so much time on those albums, like blood, sweat, and tears. And every time I saw a listing that looked even remotely like it might work, I was like, here's the 5 songs that'll all work. And none of them were accepted, and it was very disheartening. So I do want to say that, like, writing songs to those taxi listings, man, what a great practice that was for me.
Yeah.
And getting the feedback, and then working with other people like Michelle and everyone that I've worked with. Like, so if you're primarily a songwriter, then a thing that I would definitely encourage you to do is to hook up with somebody that's more of a producer, someone that does more the record, like they love the mixing and editing, and they're not, you know, and maybe their songwriting side is where they're a little weaker, and like kind of combining that. Like I had that with several people, and that's really made for me, like, I'm not strong in everything. I do a little bit of everything. I play a lot of different instruments. I spent from 2008 to currently working on and learning Pro Tools. And I didn't do I did a little bit of 4-track when I was in college. And so I didn't experience a little bit of recording. I didn't switch till digital recording till 2008. I had been doing some basic recording up to then. But the technology is available. And you can just start on a basic level. I mean, start with GarageBand. If you have a Mac, do GarageBand. It's great. It's got amazing stuff. All you need is like one little interface for everything. You can get like one of those Uno or the Apogee Uno. Yeah. Those are great. You know, you can do a whole lot with just one good mic input and a GarageBand. I mean, there are bands that have produced entire albums doing that. Yeah. At the very least, just as practice. But so I'm looking at this. So I posted a link to Sample Magic in relation to what Jason was saying. I think that's so important to listen critically to music that you are trying to emulate, because now if you're a songwriter and you're kind of creating demos to get to other songwriters, then you should be really tearing apart, you know, as many songs as you can, and like learning songs. One of the things I wish I had more of in my past was I wish I'd been in a cover band, because there's such lessons in all the songs that have come before us, for sure. Yeah. And I didn't do a lot of that when I started, and now I'm, jumping into even just recording a cover of something is such a great education. And then, or even just taking a set of chord progressions from a band that you like, and then listening to another song like that has a different melody, and then trying to mash those two together, and it becomes something new. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to approach
writing. I know you've